What up, Raven? Happy New Year. A new year is upon us. Happy New Year. Up. Alright, hold on. Happy New Year, Garm. Enjoy your fireworks, man. Hope to see you in 2026. What up, Pep? Alright, what was I up to in here? Oh, I want to do some math real quick. That's what I want to do. I want to do some math real quick. You know what? You know I love doing math. What if I were to save as a new build, testing Shadow Blight? So this is testing Shadow Blight. And the idea is that it would be a comparison of this which is effectively a loss of a 1.55. Okay, so let's pull up a sheet. What I want to compare is, what if I got an Evan Piercer? What if I got an Evan Piercer with a GG Sanctification on it? God, I have so much math here. I just have so much. I have done some calculations for something. Too many, I say. All right. So passive amulet versus Evan Piercer. Gloom ends up being the same. Does it?
I used Evan Piercer while leveling an Igni Watt for extra curse procs during manual maiden spam.
Garm, thank you very much for the 17 months. So you use Evan Piercer while leveling Igni Watt for extra curse procs during manual maiden spam. Yeah, that makes sense. Evan Piercer is great on leveling. What up, Sandy? GG on first. How we doing, Big Bad Dog? I'm just coming back to the game after a break, and I just want to say thank you for the Necro, Affliction, Shadow Blight guides. They've been very helpful to get me back into the game. Hell yeah, brother! That's awesome. GG. So the difference here is 5 ranks of Gloom. So Gloom ends up being 5 ranks for Evan Piercer. So we get, let me think about this. So this gets Damned, 1.55, and this gets Decay as a total of 75 5 times is 350 is 375, a 4.75. This does not get Damned. This will get 50. 50 as 5 is a 3.5. This will also get 2 more passives. of 3 ranks to 0. And amplify, which is 3 ranks as opposed to 0. Reapers will be 0 versus 11. And Gloom as a base would be 3. But I could get a GA on Gloom as well. So Gloom could be 4. Let's say Gloom is 4. Nothing else on here really matters. The Blight, so every once in a while you do trigger Blight. And Blight is 2 more procs, 2 more ticks per cast. So a very, very, very slight increase. The major benefit being the increased generation of corpses. So I'm gonna, the Blight procs, I'm gonna give it a 3% damage increase, kind of, overall. Very hard to quantify that. Very, very, very slight increase in efficiency. You know, but sometimes it casts twice. Oh, this could even be a GA. Sometimes, I'm gonna call this a 5% increase in damage. That feels very kind to me and very unkind to the item. Okay. So that's what we're looking at. So now we have to consider the difference in multipliers, roughly. So this is 6 per. So we go from what up, Himbo? What's going on? New York plans? Yes, we have a house party that we're going to. My girlfriend does have to get up super early in the next morning, so I think she's going to dip shortly after New Year's. And I'm just going to be a degenerate at my friend's house. Pretty exciting. So this is a difference of a 1.24 and a 1.42. 1.42 divided by 1.24 ends up being a 14.5 multi. 1.145. Amplify is... well, no. Terror. No, I like this one better. Wait till you're old and you just stay home. I'm 35, you know what I mean? Like, I'm getting up there. Blight is your favorite Necro build. I wish that it hit like Shadow Blight. Me too, boss. They really have fucked dot builds, like, just ass over ass. This should be Terror. This should be Terror. So this is 21 with a 1/3 effectiveness for the other one. Or is it 1/4? I did this calculation somewhere here. %35 effectiveness. Okay. This is a 1.21. %3 per. Okay. So this is a 1.21. Hold on. versus a 1.12. And this is equal to 0.35 multiplied by 21. Versus 0.35 multiplied by 12. Okay. It's equal to an 11.3 multi. I call this terror. Okay. The difference in gloom. Difference in gloom is 18 times 4 versus 16 times 4. 18 times 4. Eighteen times 4 is 40 is 72. 1.72 divided by 16 is 40 is 64. 1.04878. And Reapers. Reapers is 2% per. So it is a 30 versus an 8 for 5. So it's 150 versus a 40. 150 versus a 40. And this ends up being a 1.78. Right? 150, because you have 4, you have 15 is 30. 30 per is 150 on 5 skills. This is 8, which is 40. Yes. Okay. This is equal to the product of this. Does doing this math change at all? So a good amulet ends up being 52% stronger. Now though, what if both of these were 1? Meaning I don't actually have multiple passives. Ends up being 19% stronger. What up, Kevin? How we doing, Supremo? Is there still any place for Ring of Sacrilegious Soul in the end game? On like AFK builds, you can use it, but it doesn't have like a meta use. Wait up, Kevin. Yo, Happy New Year, Supremo. So what this says to me is that sanctifying Ebon Piercers is worth my time if I have GA Reaper's Pursuit Ebon Piercers. Okay, so you seem to be the perfect guy on stat. I got 2 GA Griswold's Opus, but it's not better than the one I got. How much would it sell? So I am a stats guy. I am not a what is the current going rate of your particular Griswold's Opus. I would just check Diablo.trade and see recently sold trades. And then just ballpark it close to what those go for as long as you have similar stats. So the answer is if I get GA Ebon Piercers on Reaper's Pursuit, it's worth for me to sanctify it in case I hit Grandfather. Cool. Oh, and then the difference in additive. So I think this goes away. And I think we could consider it more like that. Okay. Are you running Shadow Blight or regular Blight? This is Shadow Blight. This is a Shadow Blight build. Now let's see if I have any Ebon Piercers. I have 3. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's kind of good enough. I'm actually going to hold on to that for my Blight build in case I ever play Blight. What is this? What are you sanctified with? Oh, another GA. It's kind of funny. This is like not currently better. Yeah, it's not. So I should just get rid of it so I don't accidentally use it. Is Maxwell Reaper's Pursuit +8? I can't remember. It's +11 ranks with a Masterwork crit on it. Let me just double check that. Yeah, with the Masterwork crit in GA, it's 11. Yo, Genova! Thank you very much for the 5 gifted subs to the community. Thank you. 5 new members on YouTube. Let's go, baby. Actually, Genova, you know, it's very funny. Oh, okay. I see a Star Wars logo. Is Genova in reference to a character from Final Fantasy VII or a prior iteration of Genova? Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Happy New Year's to you as well. Thank you so much. You just bought the 18-pack of Miller High Life, the Champagne of Bears that I bought to bring to this party. From Final Fantasy VII. So, Magic the Gathering has something called Universes Beyond, where they do IP collabs with different things, and they recently did Final Fantasy VII. I say recently, but this is like at the beginning of the year. But for Christmas, I got a Chocobo booster, and I also got one of the precons. And the precon that I got just reminded me how very, very cool of a character Genova was. It's a good game. All right. So here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to, because I can't stream all day. We have a house party to get to. I'm going to burn through all of these goddamn boss mats that I haven't been burning through because I don't want to run them. So I'm going to be running bosses all day. I'm going to run bosses for a grip in the hopes of getting Blood Moon Breaches, Fists of Fate, and Ebon Piercers. Also, if anybody wanted to come run Duriel, Andariel, fucking Mephisto, and Belial with me, please feel free to come hang out. But I'm going to be doing bosses, and now I need to figure out which boss I want to turn all of the Stygian stones into. Duriel drops Blood Moon Breaches and Hand of Nas. And he also drops... I actually kind of want Banished Lord's Talisman too. Okay, so that's a good one. Excuse me. For Andariel... I don't care about any of these. I'm a little bit interested in Tybalt's Will. I'm a little bit interested in Tybalt's Will, but not really any of the other ones. And Harbinger is... Okay, so I want to turn them all into Duriel. Because Duriel at least can give me Banished Lord's Talismans. He's also the least annoying to fight. Which is saying something. Alright, I'm going to go fight Duriel a lot. Is it more shadow damage or corrupting damage to go for? For which build, Kevin? What about you're chilling at work? Understandable. Also, this outfit doesn't really make sense for my two-handed sword setup I got going here. I need different pants. Ooh, I always really like these pants. So this is a definite maybe. What are these? Weathered breeches. I forgot. I forgot. Transmog craft is obviously the most important thing to do. That's... Oh. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Probably not that, huh? What about just a claymore? How fucking badass is that? Just a fucking sword. For Shadow Blight / Blight, well, there's not really a thing as Shadow Blight / Blight. Those are two very different things. So Shadow Blight is an instance of damage which can crit. Blight is damage over time. Shadow damage works for both of them. Corrupting damage doesn't work for Shadow Blight. So I guess regardless of the build, it is shadow damage because they're equal in value and apply to both. But I really want to hammer on the fact that Shadow Blight isn't a Blight build. I really don't like any of the two-handed swords. Kind of a problem. None of them really match like a necro aesthetic for my... But there's a bone sword. Yeah, fun fact, swinging the spine of somebody into somebody else would not hurt them. I just hate that the grip is a different color. I also hate how we hold this sword. It's just all bad. I always end up here. Right. Who has added me? Hello. Mainly just for Shadow Blight. So with the Ebon Piercer that I got, it's mainly just for Shadow Blight. Ebon Piercer is for a Blight build. That is the key unique for a Blight build. It's not really for Shadow Blight. You can use Shadow Blight on a speed farming variant of it, but it's not to make Blight do damage. It's just to trigger Shadow Blight. Oh, and I'll have to go use my Duriel horns to get maximum value. Or I could just leave all the horns on the ground. Well, I can't because I'm a controller player. Oh, being a controller player. Defeat Belial. What build am I playing? This is Shadowblade.
You think you've won? This is just the beginning.
Indariel is also pretty good. Indariel is pretty good. Oops. All right, actually, all right, so we'll have to immediately leave. UGA, Soulbrand. With potion capacity. All right. I will keep GA Soulbrand with potion capacity just in case we do hit a weird meta. All right, now let's go fight Asmodan. I have too many horns. Fighting Asmodan is by far the least fun thing that they made us do this season. Asmodan, the fight itself, amazing. Spawning him, very thematic and cool. And then you go to fight him a second time in a row, and you go, oh, why is this 3 minutes of doing nothing? Hey, thanks whoever killed all these little goblins for me. Appreciate you. I don't know why there's just 3 goblins right there, but that's pretty cool. I'm here. Don't laugh too hard at this. I will try my best. When you build for Shadowblight, there was no mention of gems to use. I mean, guess that's probably no brainer, but I'm coming back and so much has changed. It is just helpful. The gems are on the planner. Like, they're socketed into the gear. Unless you're saying that the, like when you look at the planner itself, like the actual little paper doll, the items there, the ones that are socketed should have the gems in them. If not, then something has gone terribly wrong. So many boss mats. New to that planner style? Gotcha. Does Andy drop Griswolds or only Duriel? I'm not too sure. We have the boss loot cheat sheet on Maxroll. You can check that out. I haven't memorized the Paladin unique drops. The other thing to keep in mind is that all bosses can all drop all uniques. They are just more likely to drop from a table which is particular to them. And more people in your party means that they are more likely to drop from their specific table as opposed to the general table. You're able to see them? Awesome. Also, while you are here, I do not consider asking questions about things you want to be educated about to ever be stupid or wrong or bad. You cannot know things which you do not know, and it does not make you stupid for not knowing. It makes you uneducated. Being uneducated is the state that all people find themselves in until they are educated. It is not a sin to be uneducated. And I want people to feel empowered to want to become educated. You're uneducated? So am I. I don't know how to fucking bake bread. If you ask me at any given time if I'm going to bake something like cookies or bread or a fucking a pie or whatever, I'm positive eggs go in all of them. Maybe milk goes in all of them? The only one I know doesn't have milk is dough for making pizza. But, like, does milk go in bread? Does that help? There's something called milk bread. Does that mean milk doesn't normally have bread, but milk bread does? I don't know. I don't know, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. A sword? Nope. Huh? A sword? Nope. What did I get under the Christmas tree? I got some clothes. I got some money. I got a bunch of magic cards. And I got some chocolate.
What's still got some good in it?
There is magic in all things. Let me show you.
Just casual player? Nothing wrong with that, dog. I couldn't tell you jack shit about Diablo 1. I probably have like 1,000 hours in that game. I don't know how it works. I'm still not quite sure how to figure out whether or not one item is faster than another item. You just did the whole process of making 5 amulets and you didn't masterwork any of them? It's a bold strategy. Am I Italian? Sure am. Italian and Sicilian. My grandpappy's off the boat. I am a second generation Italian American. I speak very little Italian because my family wanted to be American. Makes sense. Pretty typical internalized whitewashing of culture, being an immigrant in the United States. Pretty certain that it's not typically milk. I believe you. I didn't learn how to make sourdough with the rest of us. I did not, no. During the pandemic, I was working. Because I was a healthcare worker. I was also a streamer. So I just worked a day job and then came and streamed. I didn't really have time to get hobbies during the pandemic. I was very good at staying inside, though. Man, the pandemic was so good for being a content creator. Like, horrible, you know, due to all the death and destruction and, like, horrid, nasty, nasty psychological repercussions. But a lot of people watch content. Give us tanky build to play it in hardcore. Can I give you a tanky build? So none of the Necromancer builds are built to easily die. You would just typically swap out to a shield with damage reduction and make sure to overstack survivability stats and progress slower. I was a pro stay insider, yeah. Okay, immigrants back then built New York and Boston. Yeah, actually, so my great-grandfather on my mother's side built the house that eventually my grandfather on my father's side bought. Pretty interesting little bit of MacroBioBoi lore there. My great-grandfather on my mother's side came back from the war and built houses. You know, that's just what you did back then. Came home from the war, had a little bit of a drinking problem. You slept in separate beds from your spouse, and you built houses. Yeah, pretty run-of-the-mill stuff. Don't make resolutions. Make binding agreements with Eldritch Horrors. Devote yourself to the dark woods, to the mist. Fill your fists with cold forest soil and scream into the new year. I have actually seen that one before. Verbitia. Happy New Year's. I like Italian cuisine because gravy and ravioli taste good. Are there tax deductions for gambling losses? Is that true? Is that only true through like federal and state lotteries? There can't be tax deductions on losses to private entities. That wouldn't make any fucking sense. You just wash all your money into a casino that your buddy owned. This is fun. I didn't know what Skull Reserve meant. was like, what's a skull reserve? All right, skulls are a gem. BMBs, baby. A sword? No. A sword? No. Nice. Ooh, there's some new amulets, though. No, there wasn't. No, there wasn't, and I was stupid for saying so. How dare I? Alright, so back to the Duriel Grind. The name of this song is Resist the Machine. I didn't know Woody was a leftist. Am I planning on pushing the tower? I am. If I can't get any good sanctifications, there's only so much I can push, obviously. But I'm going to be doing it regardless. Because I'll have to come up with like good strategies and check the meta for how the builds develop. Asban seems to not have a visual indicator that he is poisoned yet.
Better than starting from nothing.
I don't know what that means. No, I don't think Woody and I would get along well if he was a conservative. But saying conservative, like, you really can't compare the political stances of the United States against the political stances of Europeans. Like, we're just talking about two wildly different sets of things to compare. Can't tell if he's poisoned or not. Like, when you look at their health bar, it doesn't show you the amount of the health damage that you've dealt as poison to them? What does being a conservative mean? So that's like the major issue. One, like, what does conservative truly mean? Conservative isn't so much... It comes down to a lot of stuff. And I can only speak from the United States, right? When we are saying conservative here, what do we mean? Because many people aren't really, like, politically conservative. Because, at least in the United States, politics has become about defining morality as a means to unify a base of voters for the purposes of being able to push a political agenda, which is not the same thing as being whatever a conservative would be. That's why we typically end up with right and left.
Excellent find.
And then there's the fulcrum over which all of this balances, which is whether or not you believe in a capitalist society and a non-capitalist society, with non-capitalist societies having multiple different facets and ways of understanding them. What is the highest pit that I've done? 110. But I've been playing mostly Paladin. I actually haven't, like, pushed my character. I think I have, like, 50% more hours on my Paladin than I do Necro. And pushing on the Paladin was not particularly interesting to me, so I was just testing out builds. Yeah. Most people end up being liberals with a difference in opinion of how socially progressive they want to be. Liberalism is the attempt to maintain, like, a fairly center position while continuing to progress the agenda of capitalism and maintaining a status quo, which is predominantly white colonial in nature. That's That is where most people who are not particularly engaged with political concepts end up falling as far as like policy that they support. At least in the United States. Yeah, so there's a natural conflation of liberalism with leftism because liberals tended to be identified as democratic or as Democrats on the, again, this is all American political spectrum. This has nothing to do with the rest of the world. But you have Democrats. Democrats are more left, where in general, Democrats wear a facade of leftism as a populist stance for, again, concentrating a belief structure in the voter base, while mostly pushing the agenda of liberalism, which is, again, to maintain colonial capitalist power structure in play. With the upside being that they get to enjoy being career politicians and generally having a good scapegoat of the reason why we haven't won is because you haven't tried hard enough. And that is what stops us from being powerful. So it is the eschewing of total responsibility for their unwillingness to ever truly push forward any left policies, because this does not push forward the ultimate end goal of capitalists. And capitalists are the one with the money to be able to buy the politicians. Way to not know how to explain what conservatism is. Imagine not being able to get along with a member from another party. None of those things were said. You are not a victim. Calm down. Ooh, perfect timing. You might end up in the clip. Hey, I'll keep it. Imagine hearing a conversation damning liberalism, mostly talking about how American politics does not actually define the totality of politics, and that attempting to describe what a conservative is, knowing that it is a nuanced position, and most of what politics has devolved into is ideology politics as opposed to policy politics, the thing that politics are supposed to be about. And hearing inside of that, you are currently being othered, me refusing to damn anybody because that is too tricky of a thing to do wholesale, and that you believe you can intuit how I would engage with somebody who has different political ideology than me. What a weird conversation. Said that Woody and I probably wouldn't get along. We probably wouldn't, as it pertains to a current American conservative. We probably wouldn't get along. If you find that to be a damnation or a powerful othering, then dude, I think the snowflake might be in the room. Wild bananas. Bananas. But yes, I tend to not get along with American conservatives because American conservatives are, again, not really a political ideology or a bent. They are seeking to utilize faux morality and demanding that we all bend to a Christian ethno-state for the purposes of purity testing, to then move forward agendas which seek to enable fascism and authoritarianism, which is distinctly against the propaganda of the United States, while secretly being the undercurrent of the United States. So I don't tend to get along with those people if they refuse to see the world outside of this faux versus if you actually watch my content, you'll see that at the end of all of my streams, I try to point out that this left versus right ideology politics is a psyop, and that it's being forced down our throats, and that we're actually not that different, with the issue being that part of the conservative bent in the United States is to attempt to eradicate that nuanced position, because we need to be entrenched in a war with one another to keep us from unifying our collective bargaining power against those in true positions of power. But if somebody believes wholeheartedly that they are truly a quote-unquote like conservative in the United States, they tend to fall prey to this a lot. But I don't tend to get along with them. Because the outcome of our disagreements is that innocent people die. Whereas when people, when my position doesn't get what I would ideally want for society, people still do die, but at least they have a little bit of an opportunity to like work harder and potentially not die. And it's not radical to point out this obvious truth. You never said anything that's a super stretch? Okay. Yeah, I guess I have no idea what your point is. So I don't think they'll be able to engage with it in like an honest way, because I very clearly misunderstand what the point of the original statement was. But yeah, I think it's like fairly easy to say that if you have like such vastly different ideologies and are unwilling to like attempt to understand them in a better way, you would have a less than agreeable experience with another person. I don't think that that's radical. Is it still possible to farm bosses with you? Sure, Korg. Absolutely. I personally find it hard to not get along with people that I disagree with. So there's been a conflation of disagreeing with somebody about like whether or not certain roads should get potholes fixed, or how much money should be tied to any particular government agency for the purposes of like regulating certain industries and stuff like that. All of these are like actual things that a government needs to oversee. But if somebody looks at me and says, you haven't been living in the United States long enough to be a real white American because your grandfather's off the boat. And that means you shouldn't have like the same types of protections as other people. The reason why I don't get harassed in that way is because I'm white-skinned. So no, I don't not disagree with people who go, we need to denaturalize citizens and get them deported, even though our Constitution protects them. That's not really something that like you disagree with. It is a brain rot that has been pushed onto people who believe that they need to tie their like total existence to this ideology because it's sold by a party. It's okay to not get along with those people. It's also okay to not get along with people for any reason, like at all. You could just like not like people because you don't like the sound of their voice. You could just not like stuff. I don't have to give like the same level of respect to an idea which leads to like the death of other people, right? In any other circumstance outside of politics, we would never go, you know what? Sure, Jeffrey Dahmer murdered all those people, but he just had a different understanding of what the world was like, and I think that all opinions are valid. It's okay to disagree with people and to not want to be around people that you do not like or you think would be harmful to your peace. All of those things are like perfectly okay. This call to make it so that all opinions deserve to be at the table is like just a scam. It's just a scam being run by people trying to normalize wild shit that they're trying to get into like the zeitgeist. So like, yeah, it's also like very easy to get along with everybody when there is no material harm to oneself, right? This is like a privilege. It should be very easy for me to get along with many people because there's not a direct material harm to me. But other people who can be materially harmed, not getting along, is a reasonable and expectant thing. And we don't need to purity police them about that, right? Like that's like a wild thing. Yo, what up, Boiler? Happy New Year's. How we doing, Dread? It is also okay to leave people alone, for sure. But yeah, like the blanket statement, a magic not getting along with somebody you have disagreements with, that's normal human shit. And like the weird little purity grandstand there, not particularly useful. As you're saying, I don't like your opinion, so you can't sit at the table. Yeah. There are some opinions that don't get to be at the table. 100%. People misconstrue this with, oh, okay, so racism is okay. No. There are opinions that we can all point to and go, well, that one's bad. that one's bad and shouldn't be taken seriously. And this is not a radical thing, and it's also not like a secret gotcha for bullshit. It's just a truth, and there is bad opinions. Don't see how that's progressive. Progressive is not about making space at the table for bigotry. Progressive is not about making space at the table for hatred. That argument, that thing, this what seems like a logical fallacy that you're pointing to, is in fact the logical fallacy itself. Since we can all agree that acting without somebody's consent is evil to do. We can all agree on this. All evil fundamentally boils down to acting without other people's consent, right? Sexual assault, murder, right? Extortion, slavery, these kinds of things. We do not have to make space at a table for somebody who goes up and goes, I believe we should be able to enslave people. We don't have to, right? Very simple concept. It is not conservative. It is not a lack of progressiveness to not make space at the table for harmful ideologies to society as a whole. Now, what happens is, because this is logically true, and everybody can agree on this, it gets weaponized by those who would seek to push forward the authority over others, bigotry, racism, insert various, unequal power structure, and they seek to go, no, we all get to play, because you said we got to make sure that like everybody's represented, and you have to be progressive here. That's just not a truth. It's called being adult. It's not a fucking argument. It's a question. What? I'm confused. It's called being an adult? That's not called being an adult. No. And we are having a disagreement. Like, you instigated a disagreement, and you levied a judgment upon me. I get to respond to that. I guess I still don't know what thing you believe that you're arguing. But we have now moved the goalpost about 5 times. But no, you don't have to make space at the table for evil, actually. In fact, we should seek to minimize the space at the table for evil. Like a pretty... I thought that was like a pretty popular take, but maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I am confused, though. Will you do a Heaven's Fury Ultimate build one day? Will I? I definitely could be interested in checking that out. I wanted to try out Bastion and the other Ultimate as well, now that I've tried out Zenith, but I gotta get on the grind for Necromancer if I actually want to participate in the tower. Yeah, the store damage. That seems like the easiest thing to be able to break. Anytime they say store damage, it always is like, oh, well, I did that in this thing, and now it's negative quintillion damage. Hydrate. I don't have my water up here. I have ice. But yeah. How did this all start? Oh, one of the names of the songs in Woody's playlist was, what is it, like, Destroy? Resist the Machine. And I made a sarcastic joke. Man. Chat's wild. Ooh, a grandpappy? To do another one. A grandpappy? Should I be sanctifying every grandpappy in case it hits double grandpappy? Roko's Basilisk? I do not know what a Roko's Basilisk is. What is a Roko's Basilisk? Seems like it's broken, not sure if it's working. Yeah, I have to look into it. Oh boys, it's cold at my house. It's cold in my house because I've turned down the heat. Did you all know that heating a house by heating up water with gas is expensive? Don't ask that. Well, why? Morton, what have you done to me? Morton, what darkness have you given to me? Like saying the game, but with AI singularity cult weirdness. Ew. Morton, why'd you do this to me? Your Tor. Hey, Twitch Morton, your Tor. Morton is YouTube Morton. I started with the label info hazard, but that doesn't mean anything to me. The expansion new bounty activity coming? Sure said cunting. Is in the expansion new bounty activity coming? I have no idea. Did they say that was coming? I'm pumped for fishing. Electricity is included in your rent? Bro, that's huge. Oh, got a little jaw rune. We had to pay for electricity in my last apartment. You know how Trina as well? We have been. It turns out it is like awesome being a landed lord. Who would have known? Who would have possibly have guessed that? We have World Boss coming up. Huge. We'll go do some Duriels. But yeah, so if anybody wants to be killing Duriel with me, I will be killing Duriel for a long time. Feel free to join up. Exclamation point tag or it's in the description on YouTube. Unless you think we have to make space at the table for evil, in which case I probably won't get along with you. Wait till you have to start paying for all the repairs? Oh, I already have, bud. I moved in and immediately paid for repairs. That doesn't stop it from being absolutely amazing to be a landed lord. You about to hit that send request? Ripper Dipper. Witch Doctor? Korg, get in here. Get on in. First time you found a Vex in D4, was so excited. I still find it pretty exciting to find legendary runes. We got Golem Boy. I also want to do the world boss when it comes up, just so you're aware. You get on in here. No thank you, Hugh. How do I already have 350 goddamn... How do I already have 350 goddamn Gregor match? Dude, last night, off stream, I ran Gregor. I ran all of my boss mats. That's why I'm now on all of these ones. Asmodan gives a bunch. Rip. Seeing the Piranado. The Piranado. Piranado. How do you say it? Piranado? Piranado. Piranado. Alright, I guess I already have to go back. Oh, do we not all have... Are we leeching XP? Is that what is occurring? I have not found a single prankster one.
The hammer sings on your return.
No, thank you. I'm not looking to just, like, get other people's pranksters for free. I would like for this to be efficient. I don't necessarily want to wait 10 seconds in between each boss kill if we're just leeching XP, to be quite honest. The idea is that everybody would be running the boss. Lugabrix. Are we just leeching? It's like a somewhere around like a 20 to 30% decrease in efficiency. Are you opening up the chest? Sanborn, Happy New Year. Okay, do you not have boss materials? So the issue is if we have to wait, it's like a solid 10-second addition to the farming loop if everybody doesn't open up the box. While I would normally be more than happy to just like leech people a bunch of XP, that is not the expressed desire of this current farming loop. No, you should be opening up this. You should be opening this. Not opening this means we have to wait. So in between each one, you want to run over and open up the chest. Because if you don't, we have to wait 10 seconds. Since the whole loop takes about 20 seconds. Actually, it takes about 25 seconds, I would say. Something like that. Ooh! Little mythic. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Alright, I'm gonna go back. Oh, well. Oh, you're dropping uniques? I guess I should be too. I really don't want to. It sucks to do it on controller. I do have downtime, but I also... It would take more energy to do it. Oh, Belial's here. Nice. No, that's... You do not have to apologize, Korg. Alright, I'm going to sell. I also want to check the world boss status. World boss is soon. Up. Alright, I'm selling. Is this build updated on the planner? It is. Am I keeping Shakos? No, I'm not. World boss is 6 minutes. Alright, we'll make a little pile. We'll do piles. I really hate piles. Just takes so long. Yeah, the Necro just doesn't have any cooldown based like builds other than Bone Spirit. Bone Spirit with GA max resource cooldown actually be pretty good because the skill ranks actually matter. But even then, still not. Air Perdition is just too strong. Aren't I running Paladin too? Not really. I'm not pushing on Paladin. Alright, so after this rotation, I'm going to go World Boss. So 2 to 3 more kills. Why does he have so many knockbacks? Mr. Duriel. Oh, thank you, Cork. I'm going to be doing the other bosses too, so if you have the other boss materials when we get over to them, feel free to hop back in. Toughness seems to be your struggle. So the minion Necromancer is the squishiest Necromancer because you don't get standalone. So you have to make sure that you are prioritizing having maximum life on every gear piece that you can. Alright, I'm going to go sell and I'm going to go to World Boss.
Use it well.
Okay. 3 minutes. I'm gonna go kill Zir very quickly. You want to come to Zir very quick before World Boss. I'm gonna run there. You can teleport to me. Here. They are not Della. They had dropped out. You know what's wild? His little wing slap will kill me. I thought that was insane. Alright, off to the world boss. What do? Bloodwave does feel a lot better to play this season because of the changes to Rathmas. But Golem is a ton of fun. It is very satisfying having the Golems jump in front of you and smash everything, and then leapfrog again, and then leapfrog again, and then leapfrog again. But Bloodwave feels a lot better to play than the previous season. That has been my reports from Sarah. Okay, okay, okay. What up, Zareth? Okay, okay, okay. 350. 350. Wow, stopping and going killing Azmodan 4 times in between every, like, 7 Duriels, ain't it? I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it, and that's okay. When will patch come? Like the expansion? The expansion's in April. Thanks, Stella. Okay. Oh, nom. Nom. Okay. Okay. any of this matter. I'm seriously considering like rolling alt weapons too. People salvaged Indariel's Visage and Doombringer that makes you so sad. Yeah. Doombringer wasn't an amazing item in Diablo 2. It was a fine item, but yeah. Yeah, we would definitely like to see all the mythics. Here's my issue. My issue with mythics is that they are either niche and interesting, or they are specific and bad. With the caveat being that I think that mythics in general should never just be generally good items. I think they should define whole builds, and I think that they should be specific. With the issue being that the things that the interesting mythics, they don't define good builds. If they define good builds, I'd actually be fine with their current implementation. Back to the mines. Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm just not going to care about the mats. And you know what? All right. I'm not going to care about the mats. And I'm going to pile. We're going to do both. We're going to do both. We're going to go sweaty. Although I need you to click the altar to summon. Because it takes me too long to pick stuff up and drop stuff off. Do I like Sanctification? I love Sanctification. Thank you. Appreciate your investment of energy. Okay. So I don't. What? Why can't I use these? Oh, do I have to go convert them? Sorry. You're a Bach rune away? Hell yeah, brother. I'll be right back. I guess on next season theme? I don't know. I know that doesn't help you, but I do not know. Christ.
A potent quantity, speed of the pack.
Go for it, Simon. You love sifting through 50 sigils? I mean, who wouldn't? That one got Belial. I wanted Belial. You can use in the layer and it pops out the mats on the floor. Oh, you can like click it. Heard. Heard for next time. On Herodric Cube. Joker, I love you, man. I only know what you know. And if I knew more, I couldn't tell you. I love the enthusiasm. Ooh. Damn. Damn. Wish I was still playing Golem. Like, I love the enthusiasm so much. I really, really do. This is not placating. But if I knew, I couldn't tell you. And we haven't learned any new information about any of the systems coming. Some really nice Blood Moon Breachies.
Greetings.
Yeah, I assume there's going to be a pretty big marketing push when they get back from holidays. Okay. Damn, those are good pants. They come pre-socketed too? 3 GA, 1 off perfect. With perfect roll on the crit. That's pretty nice. Get in the pile. I hate playing the game like this. But I don't have the patience to not play like this. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No Belials. Where are all my Belials? 2 left and they spawn behind a wall. Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Just don't do those dungeons. Like, sincerely. If I get into a dungeon and it says kill all, I just go, oh, I guess I'm not. Yeah, remember when they had input 10 times materials, get more loot? That was awesome. Everybody liked that. Yeah, fighting the tormented bosses for the first time was fun. So here's my thing, though. I think there's a little bit of not misrepresentation. That's not an accurate word. I think there's an interesting thing that happens when you think about ARPGs. You are meant to trivialize everything in an ARPG, eventually. That's a good question, Pokeballs. I don't know. You are meant to eventually trivialize everything in an ARPG. What up, Thing? Have a good one, Morton. Happy New Year, friend. Enjoy your celebration. I hope you find yourself in a beautiful place walking into the next year. And thanks for always being here. You are meant to trivialize all things in ARPGs. That's what the power fantasy ultimately is. The boss fights as they are currently, when you haven't trivialized them, are fun and engaging. Like, I will die on that hill. I think this is a true statement. Once you have trivialized them, they no longer are, for sure. But that is all boss fights. This is boss fights in Diablo 2. I don't know if you farmed the campaign bosses in Diablo 3. I assume you didn't. But this is a universal truth. Eventually, you trivialize Tier 4 Arbiter in Path of Exile. I'm fine with the bosses becoming trivialized. Things in ARPGs cannot perpetually grant new challenge because then you never experience the power of your gear. The other side of it, too, is that I believe that the time to trivialization in Diablo 4, at least coming from a Diablo 2 player's perspective, is actually fairly comparable. You trivialize Diablo 2 very quickly. Like, in about 10 to 20 hours, you trivialize Diablo 2, if you're playing efficiently. The thing with the trivialization that occurs in Diablo 4, from my perspective, from my experience of it, is that while we do have a near infinitely scaling difficulty, quote-unquote difficulty, experience in the pit, it doesn't actually become more difficult. You just eventually run out of DPS. But what does difficult mean in an ARPG? Typically, it means harder to survive. But the fights don't actually become harder to survive. You just run out of damage. And I think for me, that is what is unfun about the trivialization that occurs in Diablo 4. It's that it's not eventually I'm not playing well enough to survive, so this is where I top out. It is quite literally I run out of damage and I'm still not dying.
They were nothing. Did you truly think all of this would be that easy?
And for me, I would... Ooh, what's up here? What just happened? And for me, I would find it more fun. I do have to go sell. Why didn't I get loot? Why did... Belial! Belial, why no I get loot? Oh, loot's bugging. Easy game. All right, everybody. We make a new one. Everybody go back to town and we're gonna reset dungeons. Perfect. Oh, I am gonna see if Belial comes. Happy New Year, Amanita. Yeah, the irony is that Nightmare Diablo in Diablo 2 is actually less scary than normal Diablo.
What's still got some good in it?
That is the grand irony.
Better than start.
We got an item to try to roll. Did we successfully reset dungeon? Um. You want an XP shrine? Sure. Yeah. Send it. How do you deal with all the loot in the game? It feels overwhelming. Do you just ignore everything below like 2 GA Ancestrals? It depends on what gear piece. I pick up all Ancestrals and then salvage them if they're not useful to me. I've never really found it difficult to pick up nothing but Ancestrals. Like, Ancestrals are the loot filter. Are we finishing it? Does finishing it do anything? Have a happy New Year, Sean. I love how this one can't teleport through stuff. Back to the boobo. An hour? Yeah. How do you say Happy New Year in German?
My hammer sings on your return.
But we got tons of Germans in here. Germans are always hanging out around some corner in this chat. Germany is my 6 hours ahead time point reference for Europe. Happy New Year, Yamakuki. Where are you at, Joker? Slovakia. That's ni. There's no way I can pronounce this correctly, but that's ni no vierok. It's fun. Nipa Quick went to the Black Rose after. Very cool. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed your time in Boston. Why were y'all up in Boston? Oh no, Mercy's Reach will be abandoned in a minute. For anniversary? Hell yeah, that's awesome. I could also understand wanting to leave Connecticut. Ooh, 4 GHS piece. Okay. Guten Rusk. Rusk? Ratschk. How do you make this sound? Ratschk. Rorschk. That ain't no sound. What is that sound? Guten Rusk. 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 Royce Nyesjahr. None of this feels German in my mouth. Pause. Pause. Pause for applause. But do you know what I mean? Belial! I get excited every time Belial is here.
You think you've won? This is just the beginning.
Frosty around to clip. That's such a great... Frosty is every once in a while, always here. Like, sometimes Frosty was here the whole time. And you're never quite sure when Frosty is or isn't around. It's the same thing with Adam Fletcher for a grip. Like, I would just be here, just talking, and then Adam would show up. I'd be like, no, Adam, you're not supposed to hear this yet. I haven't put it together as fully formed opinions. Maybe tanking the whole breath is bad. Yeah, like all 10 shots. Taking 10 mouth shots from Duriel is probably pretty rough. Pause, resume. I'm fucked. Once I know Frosty's not around, I can say whatever I want. I can say anything out of pocket. Like taking 10 big Duriel shots straight to the mouth. Bad time. So you're saying Demonic Head might be rough? Whoa, 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 whoa. I said no such thing. You would never catch me saying that. Not in a million years. Sandy, I promise you, I do not think any less of you for utilizing the wrong your. Find Lilith's head to be real nice. That's not a pun. And if... Okay, so let's break this down, Yamakuki. Let's break this down. All right. Let's break this down slow style. The joke is head is fellatio, right? That's the pun. But it's a pun because reading it in the normal way is meant to be something that could be said, but becomes an innuendo due to the pun. Nobody would say, I find this person's head to be real nice, unless they were a very specific kind of deeply challenging person for society. If somebody walked up to me and was like, wow, I really think your head is very nice, I would run. I would run and run and run and run. You could not catch me. I would be too fast. I would be gone. You wouldn't be able to catch me on radar. Happy New Year, Alex. If somebody walked up and went, I really like your head, and they meant me giving fellatio, but they said it like that, I'm calling the police. By the time you look up, I'd already be saying he's right there, officer. Just to steal a great joke from a TikTok I saw. You'd never see me again. Not a Dahmer fan. Not a big fan of old Jeff. After this one, I'm gonna reset the dungeon. So, all I'm saying is, while ultimately I'm striking fear in my chat and giving them fail states where they feel less comfortable participating, if we're gonna make jokes about getting head from demons, oh, I ran out of materials? Hell yeah, brother. Next. Boss. All right. All right, everybody. We go next. Sell your crap. And we're on to Lilith. Let's go. Was Dahmer the one from Montana? I don't know where Dahmer is from. I haven't looked into what's up with Jeffrey Dahmer too much in my career. Lilith? Indariel? Oh, did I say Lilith? Nah, that was stupid. I meant Indariel. Wisconsin? No, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Knowing where Jeffrey Dahmer is from, a little bit of an orange flag. What up, 666? D2 is nicer. I hate this. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. You hate that a video game exists? Like you have hatred in your heart? Do you seethe? It's a lot of emotion to put into a thing like a video game. I just don't play some video games. Know what I mean? Sometimes I just don't play a video game. You know that game Balatro? A lot of people really like Balatro. It should be really up my alley. Just didn't click with me. Like, I bought it and returned it. Like, that's how little it clicked with me. But I don't resent that it exists. I should probably do these treasure breaches before the end of the Goblin event, huh? That was Joseph Seed from Far Cry 5. I get that a lot. All right, Pocket Wolves will be right back. I'm going to take this as a second to go pee. Everybody, go pee. It's pee time. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm ready to fight. I'm just fucking with you, truck. I'm just fucking with you. Some of the gear you just got? How dare you? How dare you, son? In front of my family? In front of my children? In front of my 492 sigils? And my 350 Grigor! I hate fighting Grigor. It takes 19 minutes for that dude to spawn. Kesemes? I can give you Kesemes, Himbo. I'm going. Excuse me. Impressive. It doesn't give +2 to passives, no. Do I still need to dump my tits out? We'll take this offline.
You think you've won?
You think you've won? GA pants. You think you've what? I hate playing like this. I hate playing like this. When we're done with Indariel, Embo, just remind me, I'll come give you some pants. Look, sometimes you gotta give the homie some pants. Oh, so you don't even want my pants anymore. Morgsy, thank you for the follow. Also, Radium Lit, thank you very much for the follow. I'm sorry I missed that. How does the bats aspect let you teleport from one level to a lower level? How does it? This thing? The thing needs to be traversable ground. It's not really a teleport so much. There's just some places where there's traversable ground that's not considered blocked. In your Golem guide, you recommend using a necklace with bonuses to 3 of our passives. Where do you find them? Even one giving 1 passive? Where do you find them? They're incredibly rare. They're just stupidly rare. You'll never get more than like 1 or 2 passives. Don't even try. It's a hard truth we must learn, but it is a truth nonetheless. And it sucks. I think in the current state of D4, we have room for another summoner class, or would 3 be too many? We already have 3. We actually have 4. Actually, every class can summon. The only one that doesn't have like a really like a summoner setup is Spiritborn. So I don't see there being a limit. Playing Paladin which still had Transplant. You can always run the Jaw rune to gain access to a teleport. The only thing that can add a GA other than Tempering is Sanctification. What do you hope the new class is, or what do you think D4 needs in types of a new class? I think, so there's like one little issue here, which is I have seen the new class. So everything I'm about to say has nothing to do with that. I think that Diablo 4 in general should continue to explore adding new things to the game as opposed to just revisiting things from previous games. I've been saying that since before we even knew there was going to be 2 classes in this expansion. The thing that I wanted to see add would be something like a Herodrum Artificer, which is what I thought they were kind of pushing forward Neyrel as. Something that does magic via technology by, you know, scavenging for and coming to understand how Herodric Artifice worked. Tempering can add GA. Tempering can put a GA temper. Masterwork crit does not make a GA at all. That is inaccurate. Masterwork Capstone adds 50% additional bonus to the stat, which is not the same thing as making it a greater affix. They are 2 separate things. You can Masterwork crit on a greater affix, which wouldn't make sense if all it did was make it a GA. Do I think Oathbreaker Paladin will be addressed? Do I think Oathbreaker Paladin would be addressed? I think there's a world where they could make it so that, like, yeah, so like one of the oaths is not having an oath. I think that would be an interesting way for them to iterate on the oath system as it is. Do I think that will happen? Probably not. So the issue with the idea of an Oathbreaker Paladin, one, that's like distinctly a D&D thing, right? It is not, that has never really been part of a mechanical lore in the Diablo franchise. But what the Paladins are is very similar to what Necromancers are, in that it is a realization of the inner light in us as beings, and then learning to harness it. So there's nothing really about like breaking an oath which would change how you would engage with the light. because the light is not derived from an external source in any meaningful way.
You think you've won? This is just the beginning.
And it would be interesting for GA Ring. It would be interesting if they tried to find a way for power to be added to the character by giving up on the teachings of Akarat. Like, how would they, like, what would breaking of the oath mean, right? It would be like, oh, I'm not beholden to this religion anymore. The religion is never the thing which granted the power. So at least that explains why they would still have power. But it wouldn't explain how they gained a different power. Whereas being an Oathbreaker in D&D like fundamentally changes how you get to engage with the spell list of the Paladin. I do need to go. All right, so after this kill, I'm gonna go back. After this kill, we're gonna reset. So pick up your crap. Pick up whatever crap you want. So that's the only reason why I don't think that it would make a ton of sense. But Urivar is not a broken oath paladin at all. He's a zealot. And of a particular cult in a church. He's not really a broken oath, as we would typically use that terminology. That doesn't mean that you can't find a way, right? Again, it would be interesting to have something in there. I'm calling from the angels in the heavens, it's the opposite. So the idea of breaking an oath would be finding a way to call upon darkness. But as a paladin. So I'm a paladin, but now I work with demons, right? That's the idea. That feels like too much. And here's why that feels like too much. That wouldn't just be like a different oath that gives you different power. None of the skills that you currently use would be able to work in the way that they did previously. And they would have to all have different animations and have different names and like work different, which would be very cool. It's just very much outside of the scope of what we have seen previously. Like, oh, it becomes Hell's Light or Hell's Darkness, and it's a dark spear. It's not that it's not a cool concept. I don't think anybody who would call a Broken Oath Paladin and somebody who uses demon powers as the same thing, really. Because Urivar didn't go against the angels. He didn't go against the mandate of heaven. You have to remember that the religion of the Church of Light is just following the teachings of Inarius, which isn't even believing that heaven should intercede in Sanctuary and that the angels care about us at all. It's actually just a cult around Inarius, which teaches you how to call on light from the inside. We don't channel heaven. We don't channel the power of angels. The angels taught the Nephilim and the humans through Yarius's teachings to Akarat how to be able to harness the light which is internal to us as beings descended from the light of Anu. The light itself is a thing inherent to us. It is not bestowed upon us as a gift from the heavens. The necromancers harness the light. Part of necromancy is working with the light. It is also working with the opposite of the light, the Tathamet to Anu's polar opposite. It is just dealing with the balance between these two things, which are seemingly cosmic forces. So breaking your oath as a paladin would not change your interaction with the light. It would merely change your you would become a martyr from the priesthood, from the cloth, from the religion, whichever form of that you take. Because the Church of Light is not the Zakaran Church. The people of Nahantu who follow the teachings of Akarat are also a form of spiritualism which deals in the light, but is distinctly not of a religious order in the way that the Church of Light and the Zakaran priesthood are. And now, yeah, and now I've gone full circle. But no, I don't think you'll get a demon paladin as like another option in your character specialization. He's more of getting to the heavens goal by any means. Well, Inarius is like, Inarius creates this cult of personality. Oh, I don't have any more Indariel. You know what time that is, boys? It is time to kill a dog for a while. Everybody, to the dog. Oh yeah, Rathma dying in a cutscene, I think is nearly as bad as them killing Deckard Cain in a cutscene. Like that actually really pissed me off. I was so angry. I was so stoked that we were going to meet Rathma in-game. And then they're like, nope, Inarius poked him hard. And I'm like, yeah, dude? Yeah, my guy? Yamaguchi? Damn, dude. That's lame as hell. Alright. Let's bang. Is this the same build? Yes. Except at my current power level, it does 110. And I have worked with O's, who currently has the highest pit tier, pit clear for Shadowblight. on how to have it optimized for that gameplay. So the guide is already updated. Now I'm just looking to actually get gear to be able to go do it myself. So tempering can't, so I just want to like very quickly like touch on this because it is like a really important distinction. The tempered affix that you add onto an item can be a greater affix. It's like a 1 in 10, 1 in 20. It won't take a stat on your piece of gear that wasn't a greater affix previously and turn it into one. Tempering can just have a GA outcome. Which one do I think is better all-arounder? Golem. And a sanctification outcome can be that you add a greater affix. But tempering an item will never turn like this intelligence roll to a greater affix. I see a world where Tybalt's Will is used. Even over Blood Moon Breaches, maybe? Little Doombringer? Hell yeah, brother. You think they'll implement sanctification into the base game? I think they would like to. Because what does this allow you? This allows you another stat on your ring. Same amount of crit chance. All stats is power. And then obviously a lower multiplier. Yeah, the difference in multiplier never works out. But I would use Tybalt's Will with the grandfather on it over Blood Moon Breaches without it. Alright, Himbo. Happy New Year. And I think I only seriously consider this because the attack speed can net you something else. Mm-hmm. Well, we already know from the interviews with Colin that when they're designing this, they're designing it for a season, and they would have to design it differently for it to be evergreen. And they multiple times referred to that concept. Like, there's no question in my mind. This is a test pilot run of sanctification. Like, that is not one of the things up for debate. It's whether or not they will successfully implement it, which is the thing up for debate. Or speculation, I guess. I know after the set. Sounds Gucci. So the next season launches in March, and the expansion comes in April. So the thing that they showed for the Herodric Cube at the very least was put in an item with runes and get a powerful item. Like that's what the little animation showed. So I am very interested to know like what the goal for Herodric Cube crafting will be. If it's like, you know, spend this many like this rune recipe will add these stats to an item. Oh, the Herodric Cube. I mean, we saw it in the animation being a crafting device. You wouldn't add the Herodric Cube as a non-crafting device. It is like only a crafting device. You would have to call it something differently if you were trying to add it into the game as not a crafting device. Diablo 3 didn't have the Herodric Cube. They had Kanai's Cube. Same concept. 0% same concept. What?
You think you've won? This is just the beginning.
Kanai's Cube allowed you to equip 4 more unique aspect effects onto your gear. The Herodric Cube doesn't allow you to use more items. Like that. Like they are just two different things with two different names with two different functions. So my point stands. You can't call it the Herodric Cube and not have it be a crafting system. Also, we saw an animation where it was a crafting system. So I don't think that we have to spend time speculating on whether or not it will be a crafting system. I don't think it logically follows that they would add a Witch Doctor because the Witch Doctor is not native to the Skobos Isles. The Witch Doctors are actually to the south, but we've also already opened up that area. The Witch Doctors are effectively supposed to be from here, but this isn't in the game. Was the Kanai's Cube device teased? Nope. The Herodric Cube was teased, showing some kind of oh no! Well, items are disappearing. Rest in peace to my Zan rune. Boys, we must reset. They were both Herodric Artifice. Like, I can't stress enough. The Herodric Cube will be a crafting system, and it's not the Kanai's Cube. And the Kanai's Cube should not be lumped together with the Herodric Cube, because they just are not the same thing. How good is the loot filter going to be? The loot filter has to put in a lot of work. I'm interested to see how they implement a loot filter. Did I enjoy my playtest with the new class skill trees? I cannot discuss that. D2 had the crafting element, D3 didn't. That was my point on which way they were going to go. I won't keep beating the point. It is a crafting system. You can, like, in the little visual they gave for it, you can literally see it doing crafting. But yeah. Yamakookie, have a happy new year, my friend. Thanks for hanging out. Be safe, make good decisions. Make sure you have your inhaler. I actually don't think that Kanai's Cube would feel good in this game, and I think we got like the exact experience of that with Chaos Uniques, which was that it turns out if you can stack more power onto builds, builds are just stronger, which doesn't actually serve the purpose of like expanding on or solving the issues that those builds experience. It just puts on enough power that you don't notice it. It's okay, it's Jay. It's just like, yeah, so like I said, I won't beat it to death. The Kanai's Cube isn't the Herodric Cube. It is another cube made by the Herodrum, which sounds like it's saying the same thing, but the Herodric Cube is a proper noun. It isn't, like in D2 you don't get a Herodrum's cube. You get the Herodric Cube. And then in Diablo 3, you don't get a Herodric Cube, you get Kanai's Cube. And Kanai was a Herodrum. The Herodrum made a lot of boxes. Some of them crafted, some of them augmented you with power from unique items. Oh, actually, oh, well, I'm done with wolves. I got no more wolves in me. So you know what that means. It's on to Belial. It's Belial time. Who do I want to run Belial loot for? Who do I care the most about? I just want Blood Moon Breaches. So I think it's just more Indarial. No, it's Duriel. It's Duriel. It could also be Urivar for Ebon Piercer, but I think ultimately I don't end up using that. Yep, it's Duriel. Happy New Year, MRD.
I forge more than horseshoes and nails. What do you need?
Gaping crevasse. Wearing your helmet is super important. If anybody is trying to run Belial runs in a group to get better drops, feel free to join up. Do I see Diablo showing up in this expansion? No, I think that this expansion will kill Mephisto, and in the next expansion we'll get Diablo and Bale. That's what I expect will happen. That's based off of mostly nothing. Other than a little bit the, look at that. Oh, you love to see it. After what we saw with,
Why fight when surrendering is so much sweeter?
in the teaser. Item quality sanctification. I have a 4 GA shroud with item quality roll. Is it bugged? They haven't fixed it. There hasn't been a patch.
Come, be crushed like the insects you are.
Yeah, you can get in on Belial. Sure. Then just request to join. Jarun. Diablo and Bale will both be separate expansions. They don't have to be. By putting Diablo and Bale into one expansion, what they get to do is, on the next expansion, do another new story, which they're clearly very interested in doing. At least from my perspective, that's how it feels. And everybody, don't forget to drop all your trash in the trash corner. UGA chest. Where'd you go after Diablo and Bale? Probably Lucian coming back from the void with some kind of augmentation. I think that'd be kind of interesting. Or just go against Heaven. Like Heaven finally goes mask off evil as opposed to lawful good evil. Because Heaven is just lawful good evil right now. They're not even lawful good, they're lawful neutral.
Darkness.
Which is some of the most evil you can be. Some of the most evil you can be is lawful neutral.
Like the insects you are.
Air of Perdition gives us bonus damage versus angels for a reason, I believe. After this one, I'm actually gonna sell. I don't want to like have the potential to lose a mythic due to item clutter. So I'm gonna be a little bit more proactive about processing down the drops. Do you think they'll bring back Tyrael? Oh, I think Tyrael is a shoo-in for this upcoming expansion. I would be incredibly surprised if Tyrael does not come back in this story at this point. Oh no. Oh, I didn't reset. I'm an idiot. Sorry. I forgot you have to reset. Yeah, Lorath was like, hey man, where is Tyrael, huh? Like, sure, he's immortal and everything, but he is and has been an angel forever. So he like knows stuff. And maybe he should be here right now. Got a problem, Ty. If anybody else wants to join in Belial, just let me know. Exclamation point tag. It's also in the description on YouTube. You can just add me and then request to join. You'll pop right in. I know nobody wants to be farming Belial at this point, and neither do I. But I do want to get rid of all my boss mats. And I probably should have just traded them for runes. But I went and random crafted on all my shards, so I didn't have any shards. So I need some shards. And look, we're here now. All right. You got to do your job. You got to do your due diligence. You got to run your bosses. Nobody likes running the bosses, but you got to do it. Hell yeah, we got Ham Guppy in the building. Oh, we're all very similar Paragon level. Isn't that fun? My dick in a box. You guys remember Lonely Island?
This realm will be.
What was it? It's like 2011. The only thing you have to worry about is whether or not you remember every word to the songs Dick in a Box, freeway. Jizzed in my pants. This is a tale of Captain Jack Sparrow. I'm on a boat. Die Ronnie, number 1 and number 2. In Diablo 3, when they made him human, he was still had been an angel the whole time. Like, yes, he was a human. He was a human with the knowledge of somebody who had been an angel. It's still very valuable to have somebody who has been an angel and part of the Angerus Council, like, since its inception. Is Tyrael one of the first angels? I actually don't know when Tyrael gets into the picture. But, like, even without being an angel, he is still a dude who had been an angel. You know what I mean? Like, that's still useful. The conflict being eternal is not the same thing as everyone on the Angerus Council is their original incarnation as an angel. I just don't know if Tyrael is one of the first angels. Happy New Year's, Getty. My dick in a box, ooh, my dick in a box, baby. 1, cut a hole in the box. 2, put your junk in that box. 3, make her open the box. That's the way you do it. Little grandfather? Hell yeah, brother. So this is the second time in a row I walked up to Belial, killed him the first time, and he dropped me specifically a Ring of Starless Skies. It's my dick in a box, ooh, my dick in a box, girl. Christmas, dick in a box. Hanukkah, dick in a box. Kwanzaa, dick in a box. Every single holiday, a dick in a box. Over at your grocery store, a dick in a box. Backseat at the VMAs, a dick in a box, girl. Well, 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 well. A dick in a box. Dick in a box. Kwanzaa. Dick in a box. Backseat at the VMAs. Little 4GA X-Files. Y'all remember X-Files, man? That ring was so cool for a hot second. After this one, I'm going to go process. Little Penadot, baby. Yo, Siroc's Penadot. Siroc really cursed us to answer questions about whether or not Pentadot was viable for like a year after that.
I forge more than horse, my hammer sings.
I had to answer questions about Pentadot for so long after. When was Pentadot? Pentadot was it season 2? Over at your parents' house, dick in a box. Backseat at the VMAs, a dick in a box, girl. Oh well, 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 well. Dick in a box, dick in a box. That's a great question. One or more party members are in a dungeon. Backseat at the VMAs, my dick in a box, girl. Well, 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 well. I'm on a boat and it's going fast and I got a nautical theme pashmina Afghan. I'm the king of the world on a boat like Leo. If you on the shore, then you sure not Mio. Get the fuck up. This boat is real. Fuck when I'm on a boat, motherfucker, motherfucker. Fuck trees that climb buoys, motherfucker, motherfucker. On the deck with my boy, motherfucker. Hey, Ma, if you can see me now, see me now. Arms spread wide off the starboard bow, starboard bow. I'ma fly this boat to the moon somehow, moon somehow. Like Kevin on that. Anything is possible. Yeah, never thought I'd be on a boat. It's a big blue watery road. Oh, Poseidon can look at me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Never thought I'd see the day with a big boat coming my way. Ooh, believe me when I say I fucked a mermaid. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh. Sha-sha. Sha-sha, sha-sha, sha-sha-day. Sha-day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you remember what the condition for getting a halo from the tower is? I assume it's being on the leaderboard. Like, top whatever. Stuck in a running animation? Oh, you know what happens? This is a weird thing that happens with knockback. When you would use a mobility skill and get knocked back, you are, for whatever reason, stuck in the knockback for an amount of time. And it's very, very annoying. It actually happens a lot. And the interesting thing about it is, typically when you are stuck and can't move for that long, you would die. So a lot of times you don't even know that's what happened. You just end up dying to something that would kill you, so you assume that thing killed you. But it is because of this weird knockback while using mobility thing that happens. It sucks. Little melted heart of Selig? Hell yeah, brother. Slam that Selig with Selig. Seligception. What the kids call it. Am I really getting... I getting Blood Moon Breaches? I am, just not good ones. It's making me think I'm not getting them at all. But I do feel like I'm not getting a lot of them. Doesn't it? Give me Blood Moon Breaches. Stop giving me so many goddamn Hand of Nas. Alright, this is my last one. My last boss of the new year. Unless I want to go run 3,000 goddamn Grigors. Which, fun fact, I do not want to. UGA home. Excuse me. Alrighty. Thanks for hanging out. Now it's time to go slam a bunch of pants. Alright, let's get rid of all this. Get my Blood Moon. Get all my Blood Moon Breaches. These ones are technically better than mine. Why am I not using them? That's a good question to answer. Take these boys. These ones are also just technically better than mine. Take all my Blood Moon Breaches. I had one, yeah, these are a really good set for summon. I think I leave those just in case I want them for my golem. Okay. Let's go into Heavenland. Also, let's leave this party so I don't get you stuck somewhere. Oh, but I was the group leader. Happy New Year, Bacterial. Do you want to bind this to your account? No. No, I'm weird. All right, let's masterwork these bad boys. So we'll go in order. These are actually like the best ones, to be honest. All right, crit chance, sure.
Some solid bits here.
Shriner, thank you very much for the follow. All right, so we got those ones.
Here's a good one.
Summon to curse skills like is actually pretty lit. These ones, which are great.
More there than I thought.
Here we go. You help me, please? Does Sanctified Weakness stacked with Fanaticism Aura? Do you got any clue? Does Sanctified Weakness? What does Sanctified Weakness mean?
More there than I thought.
The weakened status doesn't stack. The monster either is or is not weakened. I'm not sure what Sanctified Weakness means.
Here's a good one.
Okay. God, as a legendary power and item, you got weakness? I don't know what, I'm sorry, I don't know what weakness aspect means. Can you tell me can you be more specific to what the thing is? Which unique should I hoard for Mythic Sanct? What up, Shriner? Which unique should you hoard for Mythic Sanct should you hoard? So, Blood Moon Breaches and Hand of Naz and Ring of Medon. Disciple skill weaken enemies. Oh. Does it stack? No, but it's not bad that you got this. Weaken is just the enemy is weakened, and then things which read the enemy as being weakened are empowered. But, like, double weakening isn't a thing. A monster isn't double weakened, you don't get double bonus from a monster being weakened, etc. Alright, so let's try to slam some pants here. We're going to go from worst to best with these ones, I think, technically actually being my best, because the plus to curse skills is actually huge, but this is technically my only perfect pair for damage. So we'll start with the weakest, of course. Upgraded in affix. Not good enough. There we go. Right in the garbage. Round 2. Upgraded in affix. Not good enough, because mine are a 50 roll. Technically, these could help to solve crit if I need to swap something. I don't hate that. I will move these down here. Let's go, baby. Big upgraded in affix. Okay, I would now use these over these. Like, yes, it's the 1% damage reduction, but the ranks to curse skills is actually nice for DR, and then the huge amount of crit is actually very nice. So these are now technically my best ones. Happy New Year. Let's go. Item quality. Ooh. Item quality sadly doesn't do anything for. Also, it was 5 item quality. Rip. All right, we have a 49 roll with big hopes. Item quality increased, baby. Huge. That's not huge. That doesn't do it for us. Alrighty. Come on, big blood moon breaches right before the new year. Come on, baby. Hit him with a big old slap. Come on for a big old slap, baby. Oh! Oh! Oh, please be good. Please be good. Please. So, so everybody's aware, if this ever ends up making it into a clip, I have Sanctified on a single mythic effect, and it was Selig on a Grave Blue Mace. Please, baby. Come on. Grandfather Pants. Oh. When hit while not healthy, you form a protective bubble around you that grants you immune. So, technically, these are better than my current pants. Technically. Although, no, my current pants have cooldown reduction. God damn it. Ugh. Well, I have some great hardcore pants. Too bad I can't trade them. Well, we tried. I'm gonna keep them. Because they're like technically a thing. You know when they're technically a thing?
Welcome to my home away from home.
And you're like, good enough. Grinding out Shadow Blight. And what was this outcome? Oh, this was just GA on the crit. GA on a crit. Oh. Yeah, I actually can't drop cooldown reduction unless I hit something very good. So these are also gone. These, I shouldn't get rid of these because there's a world where I get a better Air of Perdition and then I need to swap them out. I'm keeping that one because it's technically a thing. I can get rid of this one because I have this one. If I ever go back over to Golem, I'll dealing with that. And technically this one kind of serves a purpose. All right. Ugh. Yo, be good, Bacteria. Happy New Year. Got Doombringer on your Blood Moon Breaches. Doombringer on Blood Moon Breaches is pretty sick. I do have that set of Tybalt's Will. I was interested in looking at.
Some solid bits here.
Sure, why not? Yo, thank you very much, Chris. And thank you for the follow. Sorry I missed that. That's very kind of you to say. New affix, total resistance. Bye. Okay. Do I have anything else to craft on? Would I ever use a Shaco on the build ever? No, I did not. I have 4 Resplendent Sparks. Did I hit enough to craft Jaw and Bach? I did not. I can random craft, but I think that's a pretty big waste of my time. Anybody have Bach or Jaw runes they're willing to trade for Ohm runes 1-to-1? I appreciate that, Chris. I do not take handouts. I have to trade for everything fair market. One, I don't like screwing people. And two, the internet sucks. You'll trade? Trade Ohm for Bach or Jaw? I would love to trade you for as many Bachs as you have, as many Jaws as you have. Are there any Necro builds that feel good for speed content like Treasure Breaches? Have them stacking up, but I feel so slow. I think if you put Jaw Rune and Metamorphosis onto Golem Necromancer, it feels pretty good for speed farming. $7. I will trade you for all of them. And then the difference would be 7 Jaw. I'll take 7 Bach and 7 Jaw off your hands for these 14 Ohm, if you don't mind. If you want to just shoot me a trade, I would appreciate it. And thank you. It's kind of you. Rob's Paragon 300, that makes sense. How do you do that? So I posted my battle tag right above you. If you wanted to add friend there, or you can copy and paste your battle tag into chat and I can add you. Onyx is 283. Time to go check in on my friends. Blair is 271. Thank you. Oh. Get what you need for Jaw. Don't have any box, but I have a few jobs still need. I appreciate that. Yeah, it looks like we're able to set up a trade. But thank you. Yep. Oh, did you go to the Heavenly Forge? Sorry.
Greetings.
Oh, hell yeah, brother. Oh no, that is too many Jaw, friend. I'm sorry. I cannot take this. I will take 4 Jaw from you. I appreciate you. How do you... shift right click is how you split them up. Let you take them off? Okay. Hold on. Cancel the trade. believe it is shift right click. And that's how I dance. What is it on controller? On controller, it's Y input on a Xbox controller. Oh. Oh, it won't let you do it. And trade interfaces. Top tier. Thank you. I appreciate your patience. Now, get out of there. Get this out of there. Right click that bad boy. Go on, get. We're gonna crush this. Third time's a charm, they say. Hell yeah, brother. Thank you very much. You just have to accept the trade after you lock in. Tab is Silpho. Okay. Do you just wanna go toss something in the. No, you're not dumb. The trade interface sucks. Just want to go toss something in the stash. Damn. Boy's just full of runes. You know what they always say? Fourth time's a charm. Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate your patience in dealing with all this. Alrighty. Wish me luck. Air of perdition. Bang. And Shroud of False Death. Okay. We got a 1 GA Shroud. We got a bad GA Air of Perdition. That's okay. We go to heaven. You have Dawnfire with a Shaco on it. Is this trash? No, that is the strongest Dawnfire that exists in the game. That is insanely powerful.
Some solid bits here. There's a good one. More there than I thought.
But it's only 800 unique effect. Yeah, I've read. I've proven that I am literate because I have read what you said previously. Let's go. Please, one time for the city. New legendary power. I don't hate that. Huh. Even so, it's good. Yes, it's very good. The vast majority of your damage comes from your wolves, not from you yourself. The skill ranks increase the holy light aura that you're dealing with your wolves, as well as increasing fanaticism, which grants you more attack speed in cap 2, as well as more armor and defiance, which is castle node. It's just very, very good. And 20% damage reduction is insanely good. Like, you should be wearing those gloves over any other Dawnfire gloves you have, unless you have perfect Dawnfire gloves with a different mythic unique roll on them. When you cast a skill, heal. What am I doing to Neath Iron farm? Nothing at all. I have not gone on my way to farm any particular thing other than gear. But I'm also not, like, randomly masterworking and slamming on non-ancestral gear, like some people are. But I haven't gone on my way to farm it. Run bosses, they drop Neath Iron? Not too sure. What does Neath Iron even say? Neath Iron. World bosses, Bartuk, Astaroth, Belial. Those things, I guess. Open up caches, maybe help as well. Does this? Ace Bro, thank you for the follow. Goblins, there you go. Goblins. When you cast a skill, you heal. Do I care about this? Do I need this? Do I need this for anything? No, I do not. Okay, eat them. Bang. And then we make uno más. Shroud of False Death. Bad one. We love that. It's okay. It's going to hit Grandfather.
More there than I thought.
One time for the city. Oh. Oh, and it's a bad one. All right. All righty. All right, you got me. Now you have low aspect, mixed stats, grandfather gloves. That's rough, boss. I would feel bad for you. I truly would. But you have gloves that say double your damage. So I'm finding it a little bit tricky. But if I was less jealous, I would say I feel that. I would say I feel your pain. Okay. Well, what if I hit a Shaco and it hit Grandfather? That's better than Air of Perdition, right? What if it hit Grandfather? I guess is the perpetual question, right? I don't know how I would fit it into the build. But I would need to get new gloves with crit chance.
Some solid bits here.
And I could fit crit chance everywhere because I wouldn't need cooldown reduction.
Keep my forge up.
Come along. One time for the city. Resource cost reduction is nothing. We love that. One time for the city. New affix. Max resource on a Shaco. Alright, man. That's my Bone Spirit helmet, I guess. Happy New Year. Is there a chance you're going back to D2 anytime sooner? Or is it D4 to the world? So I've got some D2 questions. Don't want to ruin the vibe. You can ask Diablo 2 questions. In fact, that whole statement could have just been a D2 question. You can always ask them. I would not wait for me to go back to streaming Diablo 2 before being able to ask a D2 question. Talking about another video game doesn't ruin the vibe. Alright, goodbye, Shaco. Always loved you. Is there a certain gear point where double damage isn't better than the unique effect? Is there a chance where double damage isn't better than the unique effect plus stats? Because if not, then just slamming whatever seems to be correct. That's probably been trying to think about. Is there a certain point? This is like a really nebulous question, comrade. I have no idea what we're talking about. When you're looking at skills to build around, what do you think? What are the things you look at the most? Trying to get into theory crafting. So, how to theory craft is a very big question. Luckily, I actually have a video about this. I just don't remember the name of it. Is Grandfather on Gear just better than anything else? Yes. Like, technically speaking, there is a combination of stats which would be stronger than getting Grandfather on an item. But that's not really true in kind of any real game scenario. So, like, give me an example of an item. And Chris, this answers your question. So, people often ask me, like, hey, how do I get into theory crafting? And not talking to anybody here and not trying to sound like a dick. The answer is learn everything about the game and then learn everything about the skill that you're interested in and then do the math. But that's not really helpful, right? But also me going through and fully explaining everything that you could ever possibly think about also isn't really helpful. Because the idea is, what are like the top 5 tips for doing it? And my top 5 tips are learn everything about the game, learn everything about a skill, and then put everything on your build that makes that skill do better damage. But that also doesn't really help. So one time while I was theory crafting a build on stream and just flexing on the haters, I did just stream of consciousness talk about what it looks like when I'm theory crafting. And this is like my best attempt at trying to explain that concept. Because it is just like hard. But it goes, most things want to attack faster, most things want to crit, most things want to scale their damage, and most things want enough cooldown to use the skills that supplement it. And then from there, it's specific. And then also you need to know how the game works so you don't do it wrong. I forget what the intro to this even sounded like. We're going to go on a little memory lane here real quick. Make this a video. I don't really know how well it's going to do, but I'm going to make this a video. So I'm going to give some context for why we're making the video. Please ignore the no glasses and please ignore the tank top. It is very hot and humid where I am right now. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make a Shadow Blight build that is also using Bloodless Scream. The reason why we care about Bloodless Scream is because they added in this lucky hit chance to be able to deal shadow damage, and because of some kind of weird bug, increasing your attack speed directly modifies the damage of this effect. So if you have 100% attack speed in cap 1, this effect does double damage. What we're trying to accomplish is scale this damage as hard as we can. So we would like to get up to 200% total attack speed, 100 in cap 1 and 100 in cap 2. The only real way to be able to accomplish that would be with a blood skill like Blood Lance, along with Rathmas to be able to gain 55% increased attack speed from overpowering, and the addition of accelerating aspect. But utilizing those kind of ignores a couple different things about the build. So Bloodless Scream's big damage multipliers are for darkness skills, and they grant ranks to darkness skills. The thing that says it applies fear literally doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with the build at all. But the proc damage is shadow damage. It's not a darkness skill. So this damage right here, the bonus here, will not work for that proc. It would increase darkness skill damage, but it won't increase the proc. When you're thinking about a build like this, when you're dealing with lucky hit chance is a very finicky thing. So lucky hit chance 40% here gets multiplied by the coefficient of your skill. So if we look at a couple different options here, Sever with my amount of bonus lucky hit chance, which I have, I have 75% bonus lucky hit chance. So I'm multiplying the base by 1.757. Has a tooltip lucky hit chance of 70%. The tooltip is not always accurate because things like channeled skills or damage over time is actually expected proc rate over a set duration. So for instanced damage, lucky hit chance is near accurate or often very accurate. But for things, yeah. So watch this and really listen, and you'll walk away with a lot of things to consider when looking at a skill. Yeah, comrade. So like if we were to look at an example, you know, we were talking about Dawnfire, right? We were talking about Dawnfire. Dawnfire can look something like this. Right? So, and let me just put on a big sword. That one, sure. So Dawnfire could look like this. If you were to have a minimum roll on Dawnfire's aspect, and the Dawnfire aspect was the only thing doing damage on a Holy Light build, which isn't true, the vast majority of the damage is coming from your wolves. But let's say there are no wolves, right? The Holy Fire damage on here could be a minimum roll, and having a grandfather on it would still be better than not. Because the ranks to the righteousness are still high, and the chance to deal double is still high, and the strength is still high. And the Holy Fire aura being minimum would deal double damage, and the minimum is half of the maximum, right? So if you have any other thing doing damage as well, putting a grandfather on this is like having a perfect item, right? But let's say it doesn't look like this. Right? Let's say it looks like this. You can't get GAs on it. Right? You can't get any of that. Let's say this roll, again, is minimum. Is grandfather on this better than that alternative with the minimum roll? No. Because this Holy Light aura is currently doing half of what its maximum is. And even if you put grandfather on it, you have less ranks to righteousness. You have no GA and no masterwork crit on the Holy Light aura, deals double damage. You have lower strength roll and you have lower maximum roll. So in this example, putting a grandfather on this wouldn't be better than the alternative. The issue there, though, is that Dawnfire really doesn't work like this. You know what? Dawnfire is a terrible example because most of your damage comes from your wolves anyways. So putting a grandfather on even this would be better than any other Dawnfire you could have. But let's look at a different example of something. Argent Veil. Okay, let's look at Argent Veil. Argent Veil, non-ancestral, minimum roll. You have to ask the question, like, where does the power from this unique item come from? The core skills are whatever. The strength, being a lower roll of strength, you'll lose some. The maximum life, less survivability. The less vulnerable damage, sure. The Arbiter Evade won't trigger core skills more or less fast, so you always get that value. That value's there no matter what. And then you have core skills that will deal 40% damage as opposed to 60% damage. So to understand how much damage loss that is fairly simple. It is just 1.6 divided by 1.4. So when something is a 60% multiplier, that is a 1.6 times multiplier. It is 1, which represents 100% of your damage, plus 60% more damage. The way you put that together is 100% divided by 100 to get down to an integer, and 60% divided by 100 to get down to get down to an integer as well. And you get 1.6. You put these two together. Comparing a 60% multiplier versus a 40% multiplier is just 1.6 divided by 1.4. So a perfect ring is 14% stronger than an imperfect ring because everything else is constant. If we were to be an item power 800 with quality, with the GA, right? These core skill ranks, which ends up being, what, 3 core skill ranks? Ends up being 3 core skill ranks. Core skill ranks typically represent, and this decreases with each skill rank, about a 9% increase in damage. Let's just call it 9% increase in damage. So we currently have a 14% damage multiplier. And we do this. And we multiply this by how much more damage we would get from core skills, which is roughly a 1.9 to the third, because there would be 3 ranks, which again, it doesn't actually give you that much. But the 750 item power ring with a minimum roll on the value is 48% weaker than a perfect rolled aspect on an item power 800 ring with a GA and the masterwork crit on core skills. Now, it gets a little bit deeper than that too, where technically you're gaining like 60 strength. This 60 strength is representative of about 2% damage. You just have to already know that, but you would do the difference between how much strength you had before and how much strength you had after and compare the multiplier, and the vulnerable damage is worth less than like 0.1% of damage. But you would do that math too. And what you get is a perfect ring with nothing else on it versus the weakest version of that ring is 50.1% increased damage. That's what this is. This is roughly 51% increased damage. So, is Grandfather stronger than 51% damage? The answer is yes. 100% increased damage is more than 51% increased damage. So basically, there is no world where, as long as it's not a weird build, grandfather wouldn't be better than anything else. The issue is you don't get to choose to get grandfather. You have to waste a lot of resources to do that, and you'll feel bad about it the whole time. Or at least I would, because I would know it's a very bad ring. So I've only been sanctifying on gear that I know is good gear, because if I want to upgrade my gear from good gear, I want to find, like, I already want to be on optimal gear and get good outcomes so that I don't have to keep farming for that piece of gear with increasingly narrower and narrower chances of being able to upgrade it. That's a personal thing, though. But the answer is you have to do the math. Yeah. I got a two-handed sword sanctified with crit strikes by core skills give you attack speed. Does Blight crit so frequently, can I reliably remove attack speed from other gear pieces, or can the caps not easily be hit in which I can still use? Not sure where to look at the attack speed buckets in-game. Attack speed, so a really important thing to understand about attack speed is that there are two different attack speed caps. There's cap 1 and cap 2, both go all the way up to 100. The thing that you're talking about accelerating, this one, is cap 2. So you are attacking faster than somebody with 100% increased attack speed in cap 1, because this goes into cap 2. You don't want to remove attack speed from the rest of your gear, because this is making you attack faster. Now, the other thing that's really important to know is that there are breakpoints. And for a lot of our skills, we have these breakpoints for you. So depending on which weapon you're using. So on a Shadow Blight build, we're using a 1 attacks per second weapon. The difference between being at 100 attack speed, which only gets you up to the 21 breakpoint, versus 156, which gets you up to the 17% increase attack speed, is a 4 divided by 21 increase. So it's a 19% increase in damage output if you actually have enough corpses on the ground to be able to eat them at that speed. Happy New Year, comrade. Now, there's two things to consider here. You probably can't make corpses fast enough to eat them at this speed, but increased attack speed makes everything faster. It makes it so that when you're weaving in Blight, it's faster. It makes it Corpse Tendrils comes out faster. It means that Soul Rift is literally cast faster when you use the animation. So all these things are an increase to your damage. But because we know that there are breakpoints, this 56 at 100% attack speed doesn't do anything more. You're at this breakpoint. So technically speaking, if you had a way to be able to, if you were at 100% increased attack speed and you had 56% uptime, right? Or you had 56 in cap 2 with 100% uptime. Technically speaking, you can remove 13 attack speed from your build because you're not getting anything going over 142.7. So technically speaking, you could go optimize another piece of gear with like an additive damage roll. So yeah. All right. I got to get ready to go to a party. So I'm going to go like be a human and do that. So goodbye forever. No, not goodbye forever. But this is going to be the end of the stream for the new year. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I wasn't even sure I was going to do a stream, but I'm glad that I did. We got some good farming done. We ultimately didn't make anything, but that's okay. That's going to happen. Enjoy my 40s. I couldn't, you know what? My local packy doesn't have 40s, so I got an 18-pack of Miller High Life instead. And I also got a Smanoff Ice, like, big bottle that's supposed to be a screwdriver, and I was like, that's fun. But let's raid y'all over to somebody, whoever's going to be streaming late into the new year. And go give some love. And I hope that you all treat yourselves well on this fine New Year's. I hope that if you are partying, you're partying safe. If you're just staying home, you're treating yourself well, giving yourself a little treat. Just because you're home doesn't mean you can't have a little treat. We'll go hang out with Woody. We'll go hang out with Rax. We haven't raided Rax in a little bit. Not that Rax needs my help. Not that Woody needs my help. But still, it's nice to be able to go and hang out with them. Have yourselves a really good... I'm going to take a second. Normally I would do this at the end, but I'm going to take a second. All right, let's get personal. This has been a very interesting year in retrospective. A lot has happened in this year. A lot's going to keep happening in the next year. That never really changes. And oddly enough, it's swapping from 12/31 to, December 31st to January 1st doesn't materially change anything. But the use of rituals, the acknowledgement of rituals, and the magic that comes along with applying some kind of divinity or power to this turning of time can be good, regardless of how, cringe it can be to be like, this year I'm going to be better. That's also okay. Don't let the whimsy and the magic, escape your life for the benefits of realism. Treat yourself well in this upcoming year. Set yourself some goals. Don't be too hard on yourself if you don't meet them. And be really proud of yourself when you do. Right? It's important to be proud of yourself. We tend to think that that's a bad thing. No, being an egotistical dickbag is a bad thing. But being proud of yourself and what you accomplish is very good. I quite literally wouldn't be able to be on this camera in front of you all right now if you all didn't help me to cultivate a really awesome community of people here. With new and old faces, people coming in, disagreements, arguments. All of that is good and healthy in society. I think that's really important. And as more and more of our life ends up online, I think it's really important for us to cultivate places where everybody gets to be cool. I think that's really important. So I'm incredibly blessed. I'm incredibly privileged. It's insane that I get to do this as my job, and it's insane that anybody supports the arts at all. So I appreciate y'all. I'm glad that video games can make us all a little bit happier. That's enough of me being on a pedestal. I love y'all very much. Let's go give Rax some love. And just be fucking good to yourself. Don't overdrink, right? Or if you are, make sure you can sleep at that person's house or get an Uber. Don't do anything fucking stupid. All right? I want to see you all on January 1st. And whether or not you're hungover and pissed off and having a headache, that's fine. I want to see you tomorrow. Alrighty? Thank you very much. As always, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, arrivederci, sayonara, so long, ciao, kap kun krak, sawadi, gute Nacht, hasta mañana. I'll see you all again tomorrow. I might be a little bit hungover. I'll be honest with you. If I'm too hungover, maybe it'll be a very low-key stream. But hopefully we'll be able to come hit it hard and have a really good time. Be safe. Treat yourselves well. I love y'all very much. Remember that it's all of us in here together, working together. Left versus right is a fucking psyop. There's no real culture war going on. We're all humans. We're all trying our best. And we mostly all just want people to stay out of our shit while still being fun to hang around. So just remember, working class sticks together. Fuck the bourgeoisie. Those are the people in power. Those are the tech billionaires. Those are the people in very corrupt governments wherever you go that are looking to make sure that we don't stick together and don't look out for ourselves because it's not in their best interests. And if anybody doesn't have your best interests at heart, then you should say fuck you to those people. Be good. I'll see you all again tomorrow. Cheers. Bye-bye.